This battery charges in 9 seconds. I've never seen anything like this before. In this package is one of the most exciting new battery technologies we've ever seen. This battery charges to full capacity in just 9 seconds. And no, this isn't clickbait. This is an actual groundbreaking new technology. Now let me show you how it works and why this will change everything for portable electronics. First, let me introduce you to today's sponsor. They are the best at what they do. For the past decade, more and more of our devices have been getting smaller and more powerful than ever before. It seems like magic, but it's actually made possible by advancements in microsoldering. And if you want to learn more about how this works, you should check out my course on Brilliant, where we cover topics like circuits, microsoldering, and even batteries. This course covers 8 different lessons, and you can complete them all in less than an hour. If you want to know more about the tech that powers your devices, then I highly recommend checking it out. Now let's get back to the video. So this is the battery, and here is a smartphone with its battery removed. The dimensions of these batteries are very similar, so I think you can see how this type of battery could fit into a phone and replace the current much larger batteries that we use today. But there's one huge difference between these two batteries that I'll get to in a minute. First, let's take a look at this battery under the microscope. You might be wondering what those little things are inside the battery. Those are the electrodes, or the plates, inside the battery. These thin metal sheets are responsible for storing the electrical charge inside the battery. When you connect a load to the battery, ions flow between these plates through an electrolyte, which creates a flow of electrons through the external circuit, which is what powers your device. Now let's compare this to a normal lithium-ion battery. Here is an image of one of the most common types of batteries used in smartphones, a lithium-ion battery. Inside the battery, you can see the anode and the cathode, which are essentially the same thing as the electrodes in the lithium-air battery. However, instead of being stacked on top of each other, they are rolled up into thin sheets and placed inside the battery. The biggest difference between these two types of batteries is the electrolyte. Lithium-ion batteries use a liquid or gel electrolyte, while the lithium-air battery uses a solid electrolyte. Let's take a closer look at the solid electrolyte in this battery. If you zoom in close enough, you can actually see individual crystals of solid electrolyte material. The key advantage of using a solid electrolyte over a liquid or gel electrolyte is that it allows us to charge the battery at extremely high voltages without any safety issues. Most lithium-ion batteries use a liquid electrolyte, and this limits the voltage of the battery, because if you were to overcharge a lithium-ion battery, it would become very dangerous. Overcharging a lithium-air battery, on the other hand, is no problem, since it doesn't use a liquid electrolyte. This means that we can charge the battery faster without any safety concerns. But you might be wondering, what is this black stuff? Well, this is the secret sauce of this battery, activated carbon. This is a special form of carbon fiber that has a massive surface area. To put it simply, this activated carbon is used to store oxygen from the air. When you're using the battery, the oxygen combines with lithium ions and electrons from the battery to form lithium peroxide. And when you recharge the battery, the process reverses and the battery stores oxygen from the air back into the activated carbon. Let's take a closer look at how this battery works. When the battery is being charged, lithium ions from the cathode migrate through the solid electrolyte towards the anode. Meanwhile, electrons from the external circuit flow in the opposite direction towards the cathode. Once the lithium ions reach the anode, they react with oxygen from the air to form lithium peroxide. The electrons that flowed to the cathode reduce the oxygen in the air to form superoxide ions. When the battery is being discharged, the reverse reaction takes place. Lithium peroxide decomposes to release lithium ions and electrons, which flow back to the cathode. The superoxide ions accept electrons to revert back to oxygen, which is released back into the air. The lithium ions travel through the solid electrolyte toward the cathode, completing the circuit. If you want to learn more about how batteries work, I've linked to a video below that explains how every type of battery works. And I thought this was absolutely genius. Why do we need a battery that charges so fast? Well, one reason is to solve the problem of range anxiety in electric vehicles. Imagine if you could drive an electric car that could charge from empty to full in just a few minutes. This would make long road trips much more practical. Another reason is to make flying cars a reality. Flying cars require a lot of energy, and if you had a battery that could charge that quickly, you could recharge the battery during a short pit stop. Imagine a world where you could commute to work in a flying car and avoid all that traffic. One of the main challenges of developing a new battery technology is that you not only have to make it better in some way, but you also have to make it cheaper to produce. That's because the market is already flooded with affordable lithium-ion batteries. A new battery technology will only succeed if it's both better and cheaper. Take a look at this graph, which shows the cost per kilowatt-hour of energy versus the cycle life of various battery technologies. A battery's cycle life refers to how many times you can charge and discharge it before its performance drops below a certain threshold. Lithium-ion batteries have a relatively low cost, but their cycle life is only around 500 to 1,000 cycles. This means that after a few years of daily use, lithium-ion batteries start to degrade significantly. On the other hand, lithium-air batteries have a very high energy density and a long cycle life. They can withstand over 10,000 cycles without degrading, which means that you could charge and discharge it every day for almost 30 years without any noticeable drop in performance. Unfortunately, the cost of lithium-air batteries is currently quite high, although it's expected to drop significantly in the coming years. To make matters worse, lithium-air batteries are sensitive to temperature extremes and humidity, which makes them challenging to manufacture. But the payoff could be huge. Just imagine having a battery that lasts practically forever. You could use it in a laptop and never have to worry about replacing the battery. Or you could use it in an electric car and travel anywhere without having to stop for a charge. Not only that, but you could also store energy from renewable sources like solar and wind power and use it at a moment's notice. For example, you could install solar panels on your roof and use them to charge your battery. Then when the sun goes down, you could use the energy stored in the battery to power your house. In fact, this company has partnered up with a major car manufacturer to develop a solid-state battery that charges in just 9 seconds. They plan to bring it to market in the next few years. And if you thought that was impressive, check out this one. There is a new battery that charges in just 20 seconds. How does it do it? By using graphene. Graphene is a form of carbon that is highly conductive, which makes it ideal for use in batteries. By using graphene, this battery can achieve a high power density of 600 watts per kilogram. That's equivalent to the energy in a gallon of gas. Additionally, the battery uses a unique three-dimensional electrode structure that allows for fast charging and discharging. Graphene batteries are still in the research and development phase, but they promise to revolutionize the way we power our devices. Just imagine a future where all of our devices could be powered by small, lightweight batteries that charge in seconds. It would make our lives so much easier. What do you think of the future of batteries? Let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in learning more about how the technology that powers our modern world, then I highly recommend checking out Brilliant. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.